자, 시작할게요. 네, 안녕하십니까. 울산시립미술관장 서진석입니다. 저희가 이번에 울산시립미술관에서 미래미술관 포럼을 개최하고 있습니다. 오늘이 두 번째 날인데요. 무엇보다도 먼저 우리 포럼에 참여해 주신 11개국 13개 미래형 미술관의 발제자 여러분들한테 무한한 감사를 드립니다. 오늘이 두 번째 날을 맞이하고 있고요. 내일까지 이 포럼은 진행될 예정이고요. 이번에 참여하는 이 13개 미술기관들은 21세기 포스트 디지털 시대에 미술관의 새로운 사회적 기능과 역할을 끊임없이 모색하면서 새로운 대안적 실험들을 지속해온 미래형 미술관들입니다. 독일의 ZKIM, 오스트리아의 아르스 일렉트로니카, 일본의 ICC, 중국의 크로노스 아트센터, 한국의 나비 아트센터와 저희 울산시립미술관, 네덜란드의 임팩트, 미국의 벨 센터 포 아트 앤 테크놀로지, 이탈리아의 밋, 프랑스의 에스파스 간트너, 스웨덴의 보트무쉐, 영국의 럭스, 네덜란드의 V2 이러한 공간들이 참여해 주시고 계십니다. 저는 예술이 우리 일상에 침투해서 우리 사회를 더 나은 사회로 변화시킬 수 있다라는 유토피아적 환상을 가지고 있는 사람 중에 한 사람이고요. 우리 미래미술관 포럼은 인류가 맞이하고 있는 이러한 불확실성의 시대를 헤쳐가기 위해 예술이 무엇을 할 수 있을 것인가 라는 목적을 가지고 이번에 모이게 됐고요. 이 포럼은 단지 이번 한 번의 포럼으로서 담론을 생성하는 것 이외에도 향후에 지속적으로 네트워크를 통해서 다양한 실천적인 공동체 프로젝트를 지속적으로 개발하고 제시할 것입니다. 우리가 지금 어떤 4차 기술혁명, 그리고 자연환경의 파괴, 또한 국가 이기주의, 신냉전 시대, 이러한 굉장히 불안한 시대를 맞이하고 있고요. 또한 사회는 디지털 시대로 급격하게 전환되고 있습니다. 이런 때에 어떤 새로운 매개 플랫폼, 즉 새로운 기능과 역할을 하는 미래의 미술관의 필요성이 요구되고 있고요. 또 이러한 시기에 맞춰서 저희가 이런 자리를 마련한 것에 대해서 굉장히 뜻깊게 생각합니다. 오늘이 둘째 날인데요. 오늘은 4개의 기관을 대표하는 큐레이터 선생님들이 발표를 해주실 거고요. 첫 번째로는 보리스 데바커레, 네덜란드의 VT Institute for the Unstable Media Center의 선생님이 발제를 해주실 거고요. 또 아르스 엘렉트로니카의 마틴 혼직, 그리고 또 이탈리아 미세 로잔나 디 누조, 그리고 네덜란드 임팩트의 아르존 dunnewind 선생님이 차례대로 발표를 해주실 겁니다. 그리고 저희가 10분 휴식 후에 종합 토론 시간을 가질 예정입니다. 이 포럼은 동시 통역으로 진행되고 있습니다. 그래서 여러분이 스크린 하단에 통역 버튼을 누르시면 한국어와 영어 둘 중에 하나를 선택해서 들을 수 있을 겁니다. 네, 다시 한번 참여해 주신 선생님들과 또 많은 관람객 여러분들한테 감사를 드리고요. 먼저 보리스 데바커레 선생님의 어떤 발제를 듣겠습니다. 감사합니다.
Good morning, and thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to participate in this online conference. I think I will share my screen now. Is that okay?
You can click the share screen button.
Yes, I will share my screen now.
Yes.
Can you see this?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Let me get everything organized. So today I'm here to talk to you about the V2 Lab for the Unstable Media. And we are an institute that is doing research at the interface of art, technology, and society. And to begin, I would like to illustrate what we're doing by showing you a little piece of the work by Louis-Philippe Debackere, The Blind Robot. I will play a video. And as you can see, this is a robot that is having two hands, which are very articulated. And you, as a spectator, you go and sit in front of these two hands. And the hands are very gently touching your face. It's almost trying to scan you while you're seeing yourself in the mirror in front of you. And this work, for a lot of people, is very magical. And it's almost like mesmerizing when you look at how the hands are touching your face. And you're very fascinated by the technology, how the technology can be so precise to basically come so close to your body and almost touching you and feeling you. But this work also reminds us of a very old installation. And this is a picture of a very popular machine, a robot, back in the 18th century. It's called the Mechanical Turk. And the Mechanical Turk was a chess player. So you could sit in front of this robot and the robot would play chess. The only thing that people were not aware of is that actually inside the box, inside the table below the chess game, there was a man sitting who was basically playing the game of chess, and through a very ingenious mechanism was moving also the pieces on the chessboard. So just like the blind robot, who also has behind the mirror a person who is basically controlling the robot, this is exactly the same principle. And what it tells us is actually that behind a lot of technologies that we are fascinated by, people, we humans, are behind this. And if we go on and zoom out a little bit, this is a image of the planet Earth with all the satellites around it mapped. It's almost like a molecule. But if we look at this, the given state of our planet, one might wonder, are we the people inside the box, or are we the people in front of the robot? Or how do we actually relate to the technologies that we create and how that we shape our environments with those technologies? Well, let's get down to earth. V2 is based in the Netherlands, in Rotterdam, and it was founded in 1981, and since 1994 based in Rotterdam. This is the front of our building. And what we do at V2 is exactly trying to address these questions. On the interface of art and technology, what can we basically know about these artifacts and these innovations that we do every day by addressing them through art practices? And I will tell you a little bit about how we do this today. We have a program that is basically investing in producing work. We present work. We publish about work. So we contextualize this in a theoretical framework, and we archive. And the next couple of minutes, I will talk about these four strands in our institute by giving you a couple of examples, so it becomes a little bit more tangible what we do here in Rotterdam. Very important is the artistic experimentation in our institute. And we do that, of course, by supporting practices of artists, but also by creating events that allow people to network with each other. And these practices also feed back into theory that come out in publications, conferences, and papers. For producing work, we basically have two main parts how we split kind of the way we work with artists. One is called talent development, and we have it under the title The Summer Sessions, which is a period during the summer where we are working with artists, young artists, to basically go from concept to presentable work in a very short amount of time, over, let's say, 6 to 7 weeks during the months of July and August. This happens by also an international exchange network that we set up. We get people from all over the world to Rotterdam, and we send out Dutch artists to these other institutes. And we scout for artists by basically sending out a video call, and the artists who want to apply, they have to basically reply this video call with also a presentation of their project. I'll briefly play you the video call of last year. So as you can see, we're inviting artists to work with all sorts of different media and come to our lab. Here we have also one of our Korean partners, the Art Center Nabi, Debackere in Spain, and of course, what's very important during these 6 to 7 weeks is that we have more artists at once at V2. So you could say it's almost a pressure cooker where these artists, of course, interchange knowledge amongst each other, but also have close discussions and production sessions with our curators, our project managers, and also our developers who are helping them with hardware or software development. You can see all the realized projects up till now. I think the project is running for 13 years now on the website summersessions.net. And you have an overview there of all the realized works and also all the partners involved. Another way of working with artists is through professional development, and we do that through fellowships. Fellowships are not really residencies in the sense that they have a starting point and an ending point. They are a continuous dialogue with certain artists that we identify as being interesting and relevant for the field. And we are producing work of them and presenting also work of them. One of the examples of last year's fellowships by Jerry Galle, who is a Belgian artist working with AI, was the creation of the United Intelligence Lab. It's an anonymous group of people who is trying to address issues concerning artificial intelligence. The project resulted in an application, Keim.app, you can find it there online, where basically you can compose your own AI manifesto by swiping statements about AI and trying basically to find your way and to position yourself in the very complex topics revolving around artificial intelligence. One other way in our production activities is co-productions, residencies, and developing tools for artists. And I will just give you one example. This is a project, an EU project within the STARTS network that just kicked off last month. And this is a project that is addressing sustainable development goals concerning water management and whatnot. This is a project also with, I believe, 6 or 7 partners in Europe, and we have each 2 residencies hosted in each partner institute. This next part, I'll let the video run a little bit, is of course the also very important moment when you show what people have been producing. And here we are at the ground floor at V2, and this is a work by Marnix Deneys, a Rotterdam-based artist who is working a lot with physical interfaces. And in this case, this is a point cloud world where you navigate through by using a very big sculptural interface. All right, how about publishing? We have different types of books that we release, and the White series, where you can see art and autonomy, or everybody is an artist, are publications that address basically a broad audience and especially also students. They are very small pocket books that try to cover basically a specific theme or topic in the field of media art. Then we have next to that also more theoretical books or monographies. Next to that, we are also publishing EPUBs, and I'll just give you 2 examples. You can download these EPUBs on our website. One is about the project by Cecilia Johnson, The Iron Ring, where she goes basically to harvest grass that is growing in an old mine site of Rio Tinto. And she goes to harvest this grass and extracting out of the grass the metals, the heavy metals that are inside there. And by extracting a lot of these small metal molecules, she finally produced one iron ring. And the EPUB is telling you basically the whole story of how she went about doing this project. Another EPUB example is one that was produced last year and presented last year. That's an EPUB about the increasing role memes play in our society and on the internet. Please check them out on our website. Now, archiving. Everything on our website is eventually archived. So if you go to v2.nl, there is a very powerful little field, it's called search, which brings you into the archive. And on September 4th, 2021, V2 turned 40 years. And to celebrate these 4 decades of explorations in the art, media and technology, we are embarking on a year of archival and curatorial study of some of the most iconic works, publications and presentations from those 40 years. So what we did is we asked our community to select the most iconic works in our archive. And this little clip is giving you an idea of some of the works chosen by our community. Our archive is also used a lot by researchers and students in the field to basically investigate certain projects. There are also interviews with artists, a lot of videos, a lot of photos. This is the Iron Ring project. So thank you for your attention, and hereby this is the end of my presentation of V2 Lab for the Unstable Media.
네, 감사합니다. 보리스 데바커레 선생님의 어떤 V2의 활동과 다양한 활동과 어떤 실험적인 프로젝트들에 대해서 잘 들었습니다. 다음은 오스트레일리아 아르셀 일렉트로니카의 마틴 혼직 선생님의 발표가 있겠습니다. Hi, Martin.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, Boris.
Okay. 네, 시작해 주시죠. Please start your presentation.
Okay. Zup, zup. Is that working now, or what do you see?
Yeah, I can see your presentation on my monitor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. So, good morning and good afternoon from my side. Thank you, Boris, for this wonderful introduction and for this meeting with wonderful projects. I'm pretty honored to sit in this holy round and to give a little bit of an insight into the institution that I'm representing. It is Ars Electronica. I'm Martin Honzik. I am a long time, so to speak, member from Ars Electronica. I started as a researcher, and I'm now chief curator of the Ars Electronica Festival. I'd like to give you a little bit of an insight into an institution that appears today in many different faces, but that is still part of the family of this institution, representing an entire field, and this is the media arts, just like all the other speakers as their institutions. Ars Electronica as an institution has been founded more than 40 years ago. I don't want to go more in that insight, but just quickly, it was a time where the technological boost of the digitalization, or let's say the electronification, was so tremendous that on the horizon it was clear that that would influence us as a society in every element of our all-day lives. That was actually the core, the moment where our founders created Ars Electronica with a focus on art and technology and society. So that is just the legacy. I skipped that. So it started with a festival, and today we are for the field of the arts, or let's say of the media arts, we became a rather big institution. It is that we do run now a museum, a center, the Museum of the So-Called Future, which is, so to speak, our gift from all the international activities to the region, or let's say it is our duty. And it is the trial to sum all these expertises, the other formats of our company, bring together and digest this, transform this for the people living in our region. Then we have the Ars Electronica, which is one of the most famous and most important, let's say important, prizes for a minority in the vast world of the contemporary art called media artists. Then we do have our festival, which I'll introduce you later on a little bit, and our Future Lab, which is our research institution that was founded when we got the order to create a prototype of a center. We have our export activities. We have a unit that should transform the research knowledges into, let's say, products in whatever aggregate state we can imagine products. Then we have a youth perspective on this complex world called Create Your World. And then we do have, for sure, an archive that since the late 70s is collecting, so to speak, every snipsel artists utilized to submit to join our formats, but we don't have a collection. So bringing all these things into some kind of a food chain, into some logic, and this is how we see it. One could say we have the Ars Electronica that brings together the international artistic expertise from all over the world, together with this idea of what technology should do for us. And then we have our Future Lab that is together with the artists, collaborating with the artists and developing projects in the one or the other direction. It is literally a food chain, how we see this, how the Ars Electronica, the festival that is taking place in Linz, where the entire world of our field is in normal times coming together and visiting and bringing, so to speak, the honey and the fruits, the expertise, the knowledge, the discussion, the critical and interesting topics and the projects to Linz. And then we have different other stations who then bring these expertises in line to, at the end, prepare them in its deep-going complexity for our visitors, our target groups and our audiences, who are a hybrid between professionals, but also people who are simply curious to understand the future and their role into their future. In other words, we are running, so to speak, a model where one could say, hey guys, you are not anymore a pure art institution. Others could say, but you are not a science center at all. And yes, what we are is, simply said, that we see ourselves as an offer to the society, as an offer to the many legs the educational systems do have. And we are utilizing, so to speak, the prototypes coming from the industries, the research, the science, the arts, and one could say, you could say, okay, an art piece is a prototype. We are bringing them all together with their communicative qualities. We are utilizing them as a catalyst, to transform, so to speak, the complexity of our presence and our future, heavily influenced by the wonderful instruments that we invented on our own intelligent instruments, to educational packages that we can where we can train and educate the audiences. Humanizing technologies is the simplification, or let's say is what I'd like to explain you. It is also our core mission. It is not that we are the techies. It is the question. It is that we are raising the question: what for we as society we implement technology, and where do we want this technology working for us and not against us? And how can we use technologies in order to link us as global citizens and not to divide us as we see it? in so many areas, and specifically in the digital. So just quickly a run through our formats, because I see them as different aggregate states, and all these aggregate states of the formats are inviting, so to speak, different guests, protagonists, and they are addressing at the same time different audiences. So we have our festival, and before the pandemics, this was pretty huge event. We had 100,000 visitors in 5 days. We only had 18,000, Jesus Christ, 1,800 artists coming from more than 70 countries making program in Linz. Hundreds of journalists and hundreds of events. A huge event, unbelievable. That in the pandemic we are all of a sudden discussing the meaning and the sense of these events, if it makes sense to bring people together. In between, just two specific projects, or let's say one project that I'd like to show you in this year is we did a festival in the pandemic, yes. We did a live event, yes. We had artists here, we had people here, we had happy people here. It was a hybrid mix between internationals and locals. And we did one thing this year in a time where nobody was allowed to travel. We created a new format, and that was the Festival University, Transform Your World. In times where everybody was stuck home, we decided to invite about 100 young people who were still before their huge major decision in what direction their life would go or would bring them, in what faculty they wanted to spend time, and what fields they would like to explore. So we had 100 young citizens here between 16 and 22 or 24 years from all over the world, and we invited them to open discuss what environment the young generation would wish as a vision in terms of studying, how a university of the future, of the present, would look like, a university that would come with a mix of disciplines that would much more represent, so to speak, the complexity and challenges of the now and tomorrow, and rather more stick on the traditional values and issues that step by step guide us slightly away from the core targets. Which doesn't mean that I'm against tradition, but I'm a fan for an open discussion between tradition and the modern, and this is for me, so to speak, a proactive way to go into a positive future. We have the Pre-Ars Electronica. This year, we had about more than 3,000 submitters. It's unbelievable. It's such a privilege for people working for our institutions, because it's also not us selecting then the projects. It is in an international jury. So it's actually a vacation time, sitting behind the jury and listening to the clever minds coming from all over the world, discussing the cutting edge projects of media arts. It's a treasure box, but it's and we have traditional categories there, like such as digital music, computer animation, AI and life arts, U19, Create Your World, and others. But we also have additionally always extra prizes, and these are, this year we had a prize focusing on digital humanity, and digital humanity is a term that in itself is not existing, let's say it like that, but it creates, so to speak, a tension and energy between these two words, where we see the core questions that the digital on the one side is facing, and us as a society as well. The winner this year is French Magazine. and it's a French magazine and also a Korean project, by the way, in a small room that references to the circumstances of young people when they are studying. I think I don't know, don't have to tell you in Korea, but I remember that I was once walking through these quarters in Seoul where all these young students are working in rather small boxes and preparing themselves for the colorful life that they hopefully expect after an intense study. And then, oopsie, where is this? And then we had French magazine as a prize, and this is a wonderful, so to speak, collective currently based in Berlin of a young generation that is aware to, so to speak, analyze the situation of the digital in order to create after this digital revolution that in order not to raise not to create but to create a kind of a culture in the digital, or let's say a method of how to get the digital back from the capitalistic activities back to a social open platform. French magazine, for those who don't know them, it's you can read about that in the internet. It's a very hope-giving angle on a rather complex world represented by a rather young generation. They are not just raising the finger, they are showing us of also solutions of how to utilize and use the digital better for the sake of culture and not for the sake of business. Then Boris mentioned that START seems to be all around. Also, Ars Electronica is hosting the STARTS Prize, and the STARTS Prize divides itself into two different genres. It is about artistic exploration. So as the STARTS Prize at all is, so to speak, the question of what art is able to contribute in other fields, just like science and just like the industries. It is also, so to speak, the proof, or let's say one sample where we see a tendency, a trend of artists, let's say from our world, that are leaving their bulbs more and more with their skills, with their mindset, with their motivation to participate on projects that are beyond the artistical research questions. Just looking at the big challenges and problems out there, just like the environmental problematics that we have and so many others. Artists are also simply citizens of this world, and it's not necessarily that the outcome of an artistical thinking and research process is an art piece. It might be that, so to speak, the quality of artistical thinking, critical thinking, participating in other processes that guide us to prototypical products, solutions, other solutions, could be a meaningful and very helpful way to change what we are doing in its bias, so to speak, to not at the end up in a discussion where we say, Jesus Christ, it's a software that has a gender problematics or a racism or is a racist. I mean, it's technology, but it's the inventor who is doing the things with technology, and that's actually a rather simple thing. So it is the question what art is able to participate in other fields, which is, if you look at our world, when we are coming from the pre-Ars Electronica with the pure artistical categories, it's really like doing the next step. It's a wonderful new value and new child that we have in our nest, let's say that. So it is what art is able to change on the other side, and it is also the question what art, what this is doing with the sake of art, with the art itself, for sure. And so innovative collaboration and what it does with the art itself. I don't think I have time to go deeper. I just quickly wanted to, I think I still have 5 minutes. Is that right?
One minute.
1 minute. Okay. Okay. So then let's jump into our museum where all this expertise is coming together. and where people who are visiting us, coming from the art world, always like feel a little bit down because they expect like the elite of media arts, but what they see is that they enter a hybrid between a science museum and an art museum. It is not that we are focusing on art historical curatorial topics. It is rather more that our museum is, so to speak, a mirror for all the problems, the challenges us as a society is currently or will face due to technologies, digital technologies. So we focused, or we drowned, so to speak, the entire museum's concept into an entire experience roller coaster, what AI is. We think that focusing on this topic is and will be a core mission. And we offer this, so to speak, in different aggregate states to our society, to our guests who are a hybrid, who are the society. So we have the Compass exhibition that is focusing on AI and on intelligence, and is kind of putting in counterbalance what intelligence is in our brains, in the human nature, and compared to the music, compared to the technology. We have an artificial intelligence meets music exhibition there. I just guide you quickly through that. We opened a new exhibition focusing on the energy, on the environmental problematics. There is no planet B. It is also a mixture between prototypes, solutions from the industries, but also artistical statements and art pieces and artists who are able to provide solutions for the rest of the world, let's say it like that. Just a quick run through. And then we focus on the question, what is work in the future? So we work on the future, and we raise the question, what work will be entirely. So just one sample, the virtual court is an AI system that is already utilized in the US for interviews of municipals. So it is an AI that is kind of checking your retina and tells then if you are good for the job or not good for the job. It is the question, the ethical question that we are raising there, if you want that or not. And then we have deep space, and I could spend now like another 2 days in presenting this project to you, but I think I leave this. I just end my presentation in saying that the core mission of Ars Electronica is to prepare the society, so to speak, for the digital. That requires that we are aware of the many complex problematics that digital brings. But we still believe, so to speak, that the digital is not a place where to escape. It is not the planet B. It is a public place, and we desperately need rules there, because it is actually invented, let's say, utilized from the artists as a tool for the better and for the good. And currently, it looks a little bit different. I thank you for listening. I hope that was not too much and you could understand a little bit what I wanted to say. And here we are.
네, 감사합니다. 마틴 혼직 선생님. 아르스 일렉트로니카가 하는 다양한 활동, 특히 뭐 미래 세대를 위한 다양한 실험적인 기술과 융합된 활동들에 대해서 잘 설명을 해 주셨고, 뭐 아르스 일렉트로니카는 뭐 이미 그 활동 사항들이 한국에는 많이 알려져 있습니다. 그래서 굉장히 뭐 친근한 공간이기도 하는데요. 다시 한번 감사드리고요. 다음에는 이탈리아의 미드 디지털 컬처 센터의 로잔나 디 누조 선생님의 발표를 프레젠테이션을 듣겠습니다. 네, 로잔나 선생님 감사합니다.
Yes.
네.
Hi, hello everyone.
Hello.
It's nice to be here with you. Thank you for inviting us. And I'm going to share my screen. Voila, can you see my screen? Okay.
Yes, very good.
I hope so. Okay. So I'm Rosanna di Nuzzo, and I'm in charge of international projects at MIT. MIT is the new Italian Center of Digital Art and Culture based in Milano. And although it's a new reality, it comes from a long history, because it has been created by the platform of event Meet the Media Guru that had explored the digital creativity for more than 15 years in Milano. And it has been supported by Fondazione Cariplo, that is one of the biggest bank charity foundation of Italy. And the MIT is a social-oriented institution, and our mission is to explore the digital culture across several directions. So from the creative and artistic production or co-production through residencies and fellowships, to the organization of exhibitions and showcases, but also through the organization of educational activities. Indeed, we also have a program on media literacy funded by the European Commission. So we work also for the media and digital literacy and the digital citizenships, also promoting projects for the active participations of citizens through the digital. So what we do is to explore the digital as a means for innovating the society and the culture. So because we believe that the dissemination of the digital culture will not only forward the growth of the economy, but also increase opportunities and well-being for all citizens. MIT is a physical and a virtual space. So, and it is also linked to European networks like STARS, like the new European Bauhaus. We are one of the official partners of the new European Bauhaus, that is this new European movement aimed at fostering sustainability, social inclusion, and aesthetics in the urban environments, also through activating multidisciplinary, multi-stakeholders collaborations. In terms of numbers, we have a huge community that is both from Italy, but also from all Europe, but also from other countries. And these are our numbers. And this is the space. So as I said before, is a physical virtual meeting place for online and on-site exchange through digital experiences, workshops, master classes, training activities, and creative services dedicated to the expressive and cultural opportunity of the digital, to stimulate union and connection of Italy towards the world. This is our immersive room that I will show you down later. One of the main aim of MIT is to activate synergies starting from the local level. So we have a huge network of policy makers. We have agreement, for example, with the municipality of Milan. We recently worked with Regione Lombardia, supporting the inspiration of new policies for the planning of the public funds to foster inclusion in terms of gender inclusion through the digital, for example. This project was called Engage, and it was founded by the European Commission with the aim to support policy makers shaping new policies, innovative policies aimed at inclusion through the digital transformation. So we have this huge network with policymakers, embassy and consulates, foundations, other cultural organizations also from all over the world, national museums, and also industries and association represented industries. And of course, we are in contact with research centers and universities. For example, now we have this agreement with Area Science Park of Trieste, that is one of the biggest industrial and research park of the north of Italy, with which we are co-organizing artistic residencies aimed at innovating product and process for the industries. We also work with so many universities in Milan, the main one, but also from other cities. This is the new center we just opened 1 year ago. Then we had to close because of the COVID pandemic, but now we are running very, very good, this new center. This is just an images of this. We occupy 1,500 square meters in an historical place of Milan, in the core of Milan at Porta Venezia. That is one of the most dynamic quarter of Milan, where there are communities for lots of countries. It is also the basis for the LGBT community in Milano. So it's a very dynamic place, also focusing on diversity. Our centers is on three stories, and in terms of technologies, we try to create this center to make innovative technologies, digital technologies available for artists and also for our audiences. And in terms of equipments, MIT is equipped with a digital signage and content management system that allow us to connect and manage all the space in the centers. We have an immersive room with 15 projectors offering extremely bright 4K images for continuous projection on 3 walls. A digital Wi-Fi system with monitors installed in each room. An executive room equipped with 98 LED screen and video for the conference. A living staircase with projectors and screen for events. An auditorium with 3 projection surface, an app to enjoy all space and content. So the main concept of this new place of MIT was to create immersive spaces, immersive experiences. This is our auditorium. The staircase where we organize events. This is the immersive room that currently is hosting a Renaissance Dreams, that is a site-specific immersive art experience by Refik Anadol, the Turkish media artist and filmmaker that lives in Los Angeles. And this is for the first time. It was the first time in Italy. And this work features more than 1 million artworks in 4 chapters, each focusing on separate data sets of paintings, sculpture, literary text, and architectural works created in Italy during the Renaissance. And this data set have been processed through unique GAN algorithms. So this will represent the connubio, the synergies between the whole Italian history and the future of digital technology. As I said before, we have different formats. So, okay, we offer digital experiences as the one from Refik Anadol, and we organize workshop, and we organize Meet the Media Guru is the historical format, and we invited in here more than 100 scholars, gurus from all the world, offering this for free to citizens from Milano. And Meet the Media Guru is an innovative format because it also uses social media casting during the talks to activate the active participations of our audience. We also organize exhibitions and virtual hybrid event. Currently, we are exploring, for example, VR during dance performances, trying to connect virtual and hybrid and physical spaces and experiences. We also offer creative laboratories for children. We are connected with schools, and we try also to get public funds to give these laboratories, these workshops free for students, for schools. And we have an academy in cooperation with the George Brown College of Toronto, and we managed to gather master on digital and digital storytelling and gamifications. And we also have these programs together with the George Brown College of Toronto that is called Future Ways of Living, that I will show you in a moment. We also are part of the STARS program, that is an initiative of the European Commission that boosts the synergies among science, technologies, and arts for a nexus with an extraordinary high potential for creative and reflexive innovation, as I said before, by Ars Electronica. And SARS focus on artistic practice as an innovative process with wide-reaching potential for developing new economic, social business models. And in this regard, what we are trying to do through STARS is to involve industries, is to try to boost innovation into industries. And we developed this program that is called Cross-Fertilization Lab that we started last year, where we first involved industry associations, and through them we managed to have companies and industries involved that hosted artists for 2 months residencies to explore together new ways of innovating product processes, taking in consideration always topic of sustainability. Okay, this is STARS again. And of course, as I said before, we strengthen collaborative practices between art, industry, business, and research. The second program I would like to show you, as I said before, is Future Wave of Living 3. And as I said before, Future Wave of Living is the third iteration of an ongoing series of projects harnessing anticipatory design methodologies to solve complex interdisciplinary problems across disciplines at every scale. Future's Wave of Living focus specifically on assisting cities around the world investigate their current and upcoming challenges, both pandemic-related and beyond. Through a series of interdisciplinary design thinking workshops, Future's Wave of Living will help craft holistic solutions and pathways to enable them to build back better. through Future Wave Living global network, participating cities, partner and advising experts. The generated innovative ideas and the strategies can be shared, developed, and integrated. We just launched a call for cities to, currently the core partners are made of the George Brown College of Toronto, the Columbia University from New York, the World Design Organization, and MIT. And we just launched an open call for cities all around the world to join this program. Futures Wave of Living is both a research method and a call to action developed to foster anticipatory design to face urban challenges related or not to the post-COVID or COVID era. The Future Waves of Living approach challenges us to image and create what ought to be rather than what exists design. Our approach, our approach can uniquely harness the new spirit of necessitated invention collaboration to craft solutions at the city scale to ensure better, more livable and equitably integrated future for all. This is the process, as I said before. We create in the cities this city solution labs, and currently we are 4 partners, and we are promoting this. What will be the result for the cities that will join this program? A roadmap to post-pandemic recovery and reinvention, implementation strategies and framework, a list of identified potential project suppliers, tools for effectuating strategies, outline of potential pilot projects. So through this global network, we want to, activate multidisciplinary, multi-stakeholders energies through this methodologies that is called charrette. And we also want to put different cities and best practices in contact to get inspiration from each other. Okay, which are the benefits for the cities that participate to the program? To have at the end publication, a feature-length video documentary, conference event, traveling exhibitions, and a global final exhibitions. What I would like to stress about Futures Way for Living is that in the multidisciplinary team that involves designers, policy makers, associations, participants from the civil societies, we also include and involve artists and creativity for new solutions. I think I finished my time, so thank you. I'm here for your questions if there are. Thank you for listening.
마이크 켜주세요.
로잔나 디누조 선생님의 발제 잘 들었습니다. 다양한 활동들에 대해서, 실험적인 활동들에 대해서, 또 다양한 협업 프로젝트에 대해서 너무 감명 깊게 잘 들었고요. 다음은 네덜란드의 임팩트 센터 포 미디어 컬처 센터의 아르존 둔네윈드 선생님의 발표를 듣겠습니다. 지금 접속이 끊겼나요?
잘 되고 있습니다.
아니, 아르존 선생님 부탁드리겠습니다. 발표. 네, 아르존 선생님. Please. 네, 잠시 지금 Please start your presentation, Arjon. I can hear your voice. Yeah, it's okay.
I forgot to unmute myself.
Okay.
Hi, nice to be here at your conference. I'm gonna start my screen share. I hope you can see it. Just give me a second for that. Okay, can you see my screen now? I hope you can see my screen.
Yes, it's working well.
Super, thanks. Okay, hi, my name is Arjon Dunnewind. I'm the General Director of IMPAKT. And I'm very happy to be here at the conference, sharing with you my ideas on the future of museums. But first, let me tell you a little bit about what IMPAKT is. IMPAKT is a festival and a center for media arts in Utrecht in the Netherlands. And the presentation that I would like to give here today, I've titled it New Hybrid and Online Spaces for Art and Interaction, since that's what I feel is the most interesting direction to go in, also for museums, not only for media arts festivals and centers like IMPAKT is, but also for other art institutions, maybe more traditional art institutions. So, as I told you, IMPAKT is based in Utrecht, the Netherlands. We're founded in 1988, and in our program we offer critical and creative views on the way technologies and media are changing our society. So we have a very digital focus. We're very much focused on contemporary art, but also want to connect technology, media, and contemporary art to issues in our society, discussions regarding technology and media. So in my presentation, New Hybrid and Online Spaces for Interaction, well, maybe let me first show you a little bit about, because this was a wrong slide. So what we do is mainly events in Utrecht, in the Netherlands, and they are either presentation, discursive events, lectures and presentations, keynotes and panels, or presentation events like exhibitions in our own center, or screenings, film screenings, art that addresses these issues that we want to focus on related to media and technology. Apart from online events or apart from offline events in Utrecht, we also present a lot online events, web projects, or like this example of an online panel with guests from the United States and two of our moderators. It's connected to a web project that I will explain more on later, called Weird Noses. But we also organize performances like this one, The Dating Show by Dutch artist Melanie Bonaya, which was an online performative, collaborative and participatory performance. Maybe a few exhibitions, just briefly introducing the style of art that IMPAKT is presenting. First, I'd like to start with the exhibition Symbiose Immaculée by French-Guyanese artist Debackere. We organized it in our own space, IMPAKT, the IMPAKT Center in Utrecht, but also in the Centraal Museum, Utrecht's main contemporary art museum. And Debackere is someone that very much addresses contemporary digital and online culture, but connects it with issues that she's concerned about regarding to ecology, to colonialism, and to ecology and the African continent as a source of inspiration for her, having her roots in the African continent, but also kind of emancipating our ideas about Africa and Africa as a source for ancient wisdom, but also contemporary knowledge and science. Another recent exhibition, and actually still running exhibition, is called Modern Love. It was also what our festival was about. And Modern Love questioned how contemporary media, digital technologies, online platforms, and automatization in general is changing our perception of love, relationships, intimacy, and friendship. So it was partly an exhibition, but in the festival we also included lots of presentations and talks. And as you also can see here, a lot of artists focus on the way we use the internet, dating apps, and other contemporary means of communication, and how that changes our idea and experience of love and intimacy. So, about my presentation tonight, The Future of Museum, I would like to expand a little bit on why I think this should be mainly investigated in a hybrid direction, combining the offline with the online. And I think there are three main reasons to go there. As a start, I'm also wondering, is there now simultaneous translation, or would you like me to stop in between my sentences? I assume that there is no simultaneous translation, or it is...
Yes, simultaneous, interpretation system is working right now, so you can speak.
So I can just continue. I don't need to pause.
You can continue. You don't need to pause.
Yes.
Oh, thanks. So my first argument is that going online and developing hybrid spaces for our presentations will make us more sustainable and inclusive. Well, sustainable because we can invite guests from abroad without flying them in. So from an ecological perspective, I think it will expand our possibilities a lot, our possibilities to invite guests from abroad, speakers that normally might not be able to come, not only because of the travel expenses, but also because physical participation costs a lot more time, traveling time, in relation to an online participation. So it's the sustainability, but also inclusivity, meaning that we can invite guests from all over the world to attend these online events. Of course, we miss something if we organize online events. It's a social interaction. But that's something that I would like to expand on later in this presentation, because I feel going hybrid can also make us include these social components and connect it with the in real life parts of our events, and also connect these audiences, the online and the offline audiences. So from the sustainability perspective, in 2020, we organized a festival, the IMPAKT Festival 2020, called Zero Footprint, with this focus on the climate crisis, discussing how we can solve this, how we can approach our dealing with the environment, with our planet in a way that is more sustainable. This festival was conceived before Corona happened. And the decision to not fly in foreign guests was not related to the COVID pandemic, but was related to our goal to organize a festival in a more sustainable way. I will introduce you the portal that we've developed for the festival later, but also I would like now to explain a little bit about another project, the web projects that we're doing. So apart from organizing festivals online, we also decided and started organizing exhibitions and art events online, and Weird Gnosis is one of them. And I'll introduce the project to you later, but here as an example on the bottom right, you can see Eric Davis, the speaker, in an event related to this web project, an online event, and we had him participating from the United States, where normally we would have flown such a guest in. So that's the sustainability point that I would like to make. And then continuing, I also think looking for hybrid spaces and going online will make us better prepared, of course, for COVID-19 pandemic and allow us to prepare art events, to present art events to our audience, even if they would not be allowed to visit our venues. And this is a first example of a project that we've developed, which was planned to be a conference, Radicalization by Design, focusing on how the design of internet platforms, of YouTube, also creates radicalization, political radicalization in our societies, simply because of more extreme traffic and opinions generates more attention on the internet and gets valued higher in your recommendation lists. So these dynamics and their influence on the political climate were the focus of this web project. Another concept we developed was the Bal Masqué, which actually were online parties where people could join a dance party, a music party with club music, but we also allowed these people to perform, so to say, in this online environment, using all the possibilities of Zoom, what you can do with backgrounds, but also what you can do, for instance, in Snap Studio with masks that people would either design themselves or would use the masks that other people have designed and that are available in Lens Studio, etc. So then my third argument about the future of museum and why we feel it should be hybrid and using all the possibilities that the online environments can offer is simply that we're facing new audiences that are very much used to be in an online environment, using online platforms that are used to the aesthetics of online environments. And we as cultural producers, I feel, need to be able to offer content that is as appealing to these audiences as the more commercial providers are offering. So it should not be a decision in online, do I go online or offline if you're interested in culture. In the future, if you're very much used in seeing things and getting information online, we should also offer good cultural programming on the internet and over the internet to give people an alternative instead of all the streaming platforms that are available. We can offer high quality and artistic content. So this is an example, I feel, a dating show where we did cater such an audience, a younger audience that was very much used to online interaction with their peers, also looking for people with several similar preferences. So we created this dating show as an internet experience. This is another example. It's a commission that we gave recently, it's also for us a very natural thing to do more things online, since it is the focus of IMPAKT to discuss the dynamics of our new technological environments. Of course, that includes the internet. And in this program, we also addressed how we can make this online environment better by improving our digital agency. These, to repeat, are I think the main points we would like to focus on: more sustainable and inclusive, a good response to COVID, and in sync with the future habits of our new audiences. A lot of the things that IMPAKT will be developing in the upcoming years in partnerships are online spaces as platforms for art, and how we can improve their online qualities and the hybrid interaction with other audiences. How much time do I still have?
And you can use your time. Wow. Yeah. So.
Okay. So the first festival that we presented as a fully online experience was the IMPAKT Festival 2020. I already explained about it, that it had a focus on the climate change. We organized it as a fully online event, since the COVID regulations that were in force at that time didn't allow us to welcome an audience. I would like to show you the portal that we have developed for it. And let me see where I can find that. This is the portal that we used for the festival. It allowed people to get all the information related to the festival, but also they could log in by entering a code that they would have received buying a ticket. So it was a sold event. It was a very cheap access that we had, and it allowed people to see the full festival. Sorry? Okay, so people would enter the online environment, and we try to recreate that environment. Recreate the festival experience. So we try to make it a small, easy accessible, very intuitive to use environment, where we mimicked the structure of a house, a high-rise with several floors, where people could attend several parts of the festival, having the main hall here, where they would see the streaming of the events that we organized. There was a social space where people could enter a bar, which was a Zoom space where they could discuss with each other, have an after talk. The environment gave people access to the exhibition here, where we had documentation of the exhibition. The exhibition was actually the only part that people could still attend at the time because of the amount of people that we were allowed to leave into the exhibition room. But to find the documentation, people could also go to our web portal. But we also offered a lot of extra content, additional content, things that were not in the festival, in the normal program. So for people to dive further into it, here they could find videos, but also a lot of games, because one of the programs connected with the way how gaming artists dealt with this idea of the climate change. And a few workshops that we were able to organize, people could also attend that and access that through the portal. And we did a similar thing for the IMPAKT Festival 2021. Modern Love, as I already explained, focusing on the way digital technologies, the internet, influences our experience of love and friendship. So people could go to our website, and via our website they could log into the portal that we have developed, that you can see here. It has a similar logic of offering our program as a building where people can go to several floors. Here we use the idea of an elevator. So people would arrive in our building, our festival building, on the first floor, and they would jump right into the stream of the panels that we are organizing. And these panels are able to also have a physical audience. So we did have an audience in Utrecht, but for the foreign audience, people that were not able to come to Utrecht, they could follow the festival through our portal online. See, for instance, here, the panels that we organized. Here, go to a first floor where we presented all the recordings of the events that were streamed on earlier days. So it was an archive section. Here we had a section that included documentation on the exhibition. So people could see the works as documentation. So we didn't try to translate it to online art experiences, but it was merely a documentation of the exhibition. This is the additional content, background text, information on the artist in the program. One floor higher in the elevator, we presented all the participatory programs in the festival, the workshops like the dating show that I explained to you, but also we have several other parts of the festival. And here, similar to the house structure that we introduced for the IMPAKT Festival 2021, here we had a top floor where people could socialize and meet each other in our rooftop bar, which was basically a Zoom space, but with a moderator. So we made sure that people entering the rooftop bar would be welcomed by a person and that they would be able to connect with each other and ask questions if they had it on the festival program. So again, here you see this idea of the elevator going down, going back to the ground floor with the mainstream of the festival program, the main festival programming stream. So maybe to end this presentation with, I would like to present to you the web projects that we're doing. So these are not connected to physical events, but they are internet projects that try to use the possibilities of the web, of the internet, to develop it as presentation places for art projects. So this is a virtual exhibition that you can enter, and then it presents several artworks related to the theme of Weirdnosis. And Weirdnosis was this virtual exhibition dealing with the way artists are using the internet as a way to develop alternative science, this weird diagnosis, alternative visions on science. So these artists, you could see their works going to the several parts, and it was paired with a talk by Eric Davies, as I explained to you before in this online event. But most of the works presented here were either videos or they were interactive works that people could play with, going through all these symbols that we used as the interface to this online exhibition. So with this, I think I would like to end my presentation, and I think we will continue with the panel then.
네, 감사합니다. 우리 아르존 dunnewind 선생님, 임팩트의 특히 온라인 플랫폼의 또 다른 가능성과 거기에 대한 다양한 실험들 굉장히 흥미로웠고요. 토론 시간에 조금 더 이런 온라인 플랫폼을 활용한 어떤 예술의 새로운 장에 관해서 좀 이야기를 했었으면 하고 싶습니다. 지금 이제 종합 토론 시간으로 가려고 하는데요. 약 10분에 저희가 휴식하고 바로 토론을 시작을 하겠습니다. So we're gonna have a 10 minutes break, and yeah.
Okay, so we'll see each other at 40 past the hour back here.
Yes.
All right.
38.
Okay, to be exact.
Yeah, 38.
See you in a second.
Okie doke.
Thank you. 감사합니다. See you soon.
I'll start again. I'll start again. It's just the fact, you know, of going through it. I mean, if we could cut.
please understand, you know, our very kitsch and funny background image. Yeah. I'm gonna make more, you know, casual, you know, conversation, you know, section for us. Yeah. I'm gonna use Korean language for our conversation. We are serving the simultaneous, you know, translation system. So you can click the button on the bottom of the screen. Yeah. 네, 감사드립니다. 모든 발제자 선생님. It's very honored to work with you all. 제가 먼저 앞서서 공통의 질문을 하나 드리겠습니다. 아시다시피 저는 울산시립미술관 관장입니다. 그리고 울산시립미술관은 새로 생기는 New 디지털 미디어 아트 센터입니다. 저희가 내년 1월 6일 날 오픈을 하고요. 한국의 5번째로 큰 도시인 울산시가 운영을 하는 미술관입니다. 그래서 앞서서 지금 뭐 아르스 일렉트로니카나 V2 그리고 밋, 또 임팩트 등 어떤 저희의 선배격인 많은 그 공간들이 디지털 아트 센터가 다양한 활동들을 펼쳐왔는데요. 저희 새로 생기는 미술관에 대해서 제가 적용을 할 수도 있고 고민을 할 수도 있는 그러한 질문을 하나 드리겠습니다. 뭐 지금 그 향유자에 관한 질문입니다. 어떤 디지털 시대의 현재의 향유자 대중들 그리고 미래의 향유자 대중들에 관련된 질문인데요. 그 디지털 기술 발전으로 우리 사회가 굉장히 광속도적으로 변화하고 있죠. 심지어는 뭐 레베카 코스타 같은 사회학자는 우리가 광속도적으로 발전하는 디지털 기술 사회에 적응할 수 있는 환경 그 진화론적 역량이 부족하다라는 얘기까지를 하고 있는데요. 그만큼 동시대의 어떤 향유자들, 특히 대중들의 특성, 정체성을 규정한다라는 것 자체가 굉장히 이 발전하는 디지털 시대에 그 힘든 것 같습니다. 그래서 제가 좀 궁금한 질문이 모든 미술 기관에 대해서 질문하고 싶은 게, 지금까지 이 아트센터 미술기관을 디지털 미디어 아트센터를 운영하면서 주로 방문하는 주요 관람객들에 대한 어떤 그 부류, 어떤 분야의 사람들이 오고 있는지, 예를 들면 뭐 세대별로라든가 젊은 세대, 뭐 중간 세대, 나이 든 세대, 아니면 지역이라든가 아니면 분야별이라든가 뭐 전문가일 수도 있고 비전문가일 수도 있고요. 실제적으로 다른 미술관과는 조금은 다른 향유자들이 많이 방문할 것으로 알고 있는데, 그러한 어떤 계층과 어떤 분야의 향유자들이 주로 많이 경험상 오고 있는지와 그 질문과 함께 또 미술관이 각각의 기관이 그 주로 타겟팅하는 향유자 그룹이 있는지, 그런 거에 대한 좀 질문을 먼저 저희가 드려보겠습니다. 네. 뭐 순서대로 누가 먼저 하셔도 상관없습니다.
I could start. IMPAKT has a relatively young audience, I would say, but we might also argue that this maybe goes for most of our institutions since we deal with young kinds of arts. But maybe it's especially so for IMPAKT, having a lot of young professional, or maybe we could also say future professionals, since a big part of our audience are students. This is related, of course, to Utrecht being a university city, but also to the Netherlands being a small country with many other university cities around Utrecht, Amsterdam, Rotterdam, The Hague, you name them. So a big deal of our audience is from those cities, from the city of Utrecht itself, but also from surrounding cities. And I think also, which might be different for you, a big portion of our audience speaks English, like it is quite common in the Netherlands for Dutch citizens to speak English, but also because these universities that I just mentioned have a lot of international students and are definitely important for us. Also, as a very responsive audience to the issues that we present, dealing with these challenges that our digital environment offers us. So a lot of the audience is either studying or a future professional or a young professional in this realm of digital cultures and culture in general.
Hi, Martin.
Well, maybe I'll take it from there. Maybe a first more general remark, of course, when you are mentioning the problem of adaptation. Every history book starts with we're living in troubled times. So you see this, of course, all the time happening. And of course, there's an increase, a crescendo, let's say, in how new technologies are coming about and are disrupting our society. That said, if you see how I made my presentation, and I'm looking now actually at audiences in terms of people that we work with and do productions with. That's why we basically made this clear differentiation between talent development and fellowships, where you see that mid-career artists have a completely different need in how to work and collaborate with institutions as us, than when you look at people that are just graduated from an art school or a media and design school and are new in the field. So that's one point. Another point, which is basically also one of our general topics or themes for the coming years, is the notion of artificial inequality, and how basically we see, of course, that there is still not such a diverse audience visiting us in terms of, okay, yes, there are young people, there are of course also people who work already for a long time in the field, but we had to admit that a lot of other groups in our society were often not represented in our audience or even in our activities. So this is some point where we really try to make some changes. And artificial inequality, you can see this happening, of course, throughout many implementations of technology as well. When we talk about biases in artificial intelligence, for instance, there are many examples about that. But also, of course, the accessibility of technology and infrastructure might limit the diversity of our participants in general. And we've seen, of course, many nice examples where all of us are trying to also bridge this gap. Is it through hybrid activities, but is it also through really reaching out to these other groups as well? So quite often, if you talk about, for instance, doing open calls for participation, there's a lot of work that needs to happen also behind the scenes to actually instigate these people to participate in these open calls. So that would be my little couple of cents on this topic.
보리스 데바커레 선생님이 굉장히 중요하고 흥미로운 지점을 말씀해 주셨고요. 사실 21세기 동시대에 어떤 창작자, 매개자, 향유자의 어떤 구분이 없는 이런 상황들, 다시 말하면 창작물, 즉 결과물, 창작의 결과물만 향유를 하는 게 아니라 향유자들이 직접 창작의 과정에도 같이 접근을 해서 작업하는, 같이 만들어 나가는 이런 상황들이 디지털 시대에는 되게 용이롭게 되어지고 있는 것 같고, 많은 그 기관들이 아르스 일렉트로니카나 ZKM이나 독일의 ZKM이나 이런 창작자, 매개자의 향유자 구분이 없는 이러한 시도들이 많이 이미 벌어지고 있는 걸로 알고 있고요. 또 하나 중요한 얘기는, 사실은 이거는 저희가 굉장히 깊이 있게 논의를 해봐야 되는 상황이라서 향후 저희가 포럼의 지속성을 가지고 토론을 해야 되겠지만, 어떤 기술 접근성, 우리가 사용하는 기술의 접근성에 대한 불평등이 사실은 지금 벌어지고 있다는 생각도 듭니다. 심지어는 인터넷 접속, equal access, 우리가 소위 말해서 인터넷 접속도 자본의 역량에 따라서 더 빠른 인터넷 라인을 사용하는 사람이 있는가 하면 자본이 부족해서 더 느린 인터넷에 접속을 한다거나 이런 equal access, 인터넷의 균형적인 어떤 접속 자체도 요즘에 equal access도 안 되고 있는 상황이 벌어지고 있지 않나. 또한 세대별 기술 접근성, 기술을 사용하는 것들에 대한 어떤 그 불평등한 과제도 있지 않나. 이런 것들을 우리 미술관들이 어떻게 향후에 미래에 해결을 해야 되지 않을까 하는 또 책임이나 의문이 지금 주어진 것 같습니다. 또 이제 나머지 이제 마틴 선생님이나 또 로잔나 선생님이 덧붙여서 본인의
Yes,
공간,
I would like
네.
to make. Sorry, I would like to make an example concrete about this, because of course we had the opportunity to explore in the last 2 years, and we, together with Julie Walsh, that is an American curator, we realized this virtual exhibition that is called Synthetic Corporal Reality, that is completely accessible on the web on Mozilla Hubs with 13 artworks. So with photography, with the site-specific photography, with video, digital sculptures, immersive installations, GIF, UV animation on polygons, and deepfake AI technology. I would like to invite all of you to go through this exhibition that is open and accessible through the MIT's website. Then we realized that our audiences maybe didn't have the opportunity to access, didn't have the competencies to access this space, even though Mozilla Hubs is not so hard to explore. But of course, you need a computer, and maybe through headsets, virtual headset, you can have a better experience. So we decided to organize free workshops around this, inviting audiences, people to access, to support them to explore the virtual space. So it was a kind of educational activities. And from this experience, we decided to realize this project together with the Ministry of Culture. We have been supported by Ministry of Culture, where we are organizing in 2 popular districts of Milano workshops, free workshops for young people coming from disadvantaged context. So we invite them to join these workshops, also together the municipality of Milano, to learn how to use, how to create objects on the virtual space, how to create also augmented realities objects. And the idea is that after the 2 workshops that are physical, in the physical spaces, they will together meet in the virtual space to co-create projects and ideas for the urban generation. So to have an impact then on their own quarters, with the final exhibitions that we will realize with them. So we realized, we explored, so we managed to have this very interesting virtual exhibition with very interesting artists. But then we realized this possible gap and decided to do this to allow people to access. So the idea is that we always need a physical portal for the virtual experiences. So MIT sees itself as a physical portal where people, citizens, young, could come and through educational activities and through tools, for example, the headset, they can access the virtual world and the arts of the future. And in the same direction, we are also organizing, for example, workshops on NFTs for young artists to also allow them to know how to monetize their works. Because the risk is also that also young artists could be out of this huge new movement.
네, 로잔나 선생님의 말씀 되게 감사드리고요. 어떤 그 기술적 도구, 디바이스를 활용할 수 있는 더 쉽게 접근하고 사용할 수 있는 어떤 학습, 워크숍 이런 것들에 대한 중요성도 말씀을 해주셨고요. 저는 다시 한번 여기에 관해서 강조를 하고 싶은 게 왜 미술 기관들끼리 미술인들끼리 연대가 필요할까? 라는 어떤 그런 필요성이 저는 여기에서도 강조가 된다고 생각합니다. 이 주제에 관해서도. 다시 말하면 여기 이제 자본이라는 개념이 들어갈 수가 있는데 자본의 어떠한 하이라키에 따라서 어떤 사람은 더 나은 기술적 도구를 사용하고요. 더 좋은 기술적 도구를 사용하고요. 어떤 사람은 더 좋은, 더 빠른 디지털 환경, 인터넷 라인을 사용할 수도 있고 심지어는 아마 메타버스도 미래의 메타버스가 일반화가 됐을 경우에 부유한 사람들이 사용하는 메타버스와 갈 수 있는 가난한 사람들이 활용할 수 있는 메타버스가 다르게 나타날 수도 있겠다라는 생각까지 듭니다. 다시 말해서 디지털 도구나 기술이 특히 우리 예술이 디지털 예술이 사유제가 아니라 누구나 다 같이 쓸 수 있는 공유제로서 어떻게 우리가 만들 수가 있을 것인가 라는 거를 같이 향후에 지속적으로 논의를 해봐도 좋겠다라는 생각이 들었습니다. 네, 마틴 혼직 선생님도 어떻게 보면 아르스 엘렉트로니카가 제가 알기로는 현대 미술의
yes,
네, 공유제로서의 어떤 그 미디어 아트를 굉장히 실천적으로 많이 하고 있는 걸로 알고 있는데요. 네, 한번 의견을 말씀해 주시면 감사드리겠습니다.
Yeah, thank you. I think that all of us here, we are sharing the same point of view, and in our individual situations, we live it kind of different and we formulate it kind of different. So I try with my words to explain actually what my forerunners did. I totally agree with everything that you said before. I have to say this. And it was everywhere it was embedded what the challenges we were facing like in the last 2 years. In my presentation I did not mention this corona thing just a milligram, just personally, because I desperately want to get out of that, and that is the point. But anyways, I think what you just said, the digital transformation was I mean beyond the art world was the best proof that it's not just the question of the internet on the one side that is everywhere, whether it is a good or a bad connection, and it is totally important. But just this many samples in Austria or in Germany that I can quote this. The first reaction of the governments was now that we had all the pupils sitting at home and everybody had to kind of work from at home, that we buy like tons of hardware. And then we think we did something good and we spread them and we divided this to the schools. And then, you know, I mean, we all are aware what a downer it is when we kind of open the computer that we just bought, and then we understand, okay, good, it's just a cold media tool, super cold. And it needs this, what Boris said, the intelligence of access. But I think it is we should talk from two ways of accessing. It is for sure that those developing and providing technology, they should think of that. They should think further of the intelligence of access in terms of interfaces, and so that is for sure very important. But on the other side, it is, I think, and also talking about the duty of us representing the art world. it is also a challenge to kind of find ways of didactical ways at the end, that if we open these portals, technological portals, that we at the end really can address the diverse group of people out there. And just like what Boris said before, I mean, one could say we are addressing the entire society. That is true, but it's too pathetic. And we saw it in the digital, in the pandemic, how complex it was to at the end really address people in their individual situations from whatever genres they would come. And that's why I much more count on the intelligence of didactic than on the technology that will make us to communicators. And just a few samples. That festival, we were talking with this association representing the unemployed, the unemployed in Austria, and we could convince them that they would come, that they would send all of the unemployed. They got a free ticket in Upper Austria, and Upper Austria is rather small compared to the world, but it's big enough, I would say. We had them touring around of our festival, and they were sent because they should find inspiration, or let's say images of how work could look like in the future, and what job they could take over. At the same time, we had those people coming from the same association being responsible, providing, so to speak, the suggestions for those looking for works, because the responsibilities there said, the big problem is there that the uninspirational and less educational state of the people who should link people looking for work with those jobs that are free is so limited that also here we have to work on that. And this is also something, you know, I mean, I'm talking here, if one would not know that I'm coming from the art world, one could say, Jesus Christ, I mean, the world is really like in a transformation, but in that way, in a good transformation. I think it's a big opportunity. I mean, the many, many bad things out there brings me to the point that it is the time also for us stepping out of our bulbs, trying to find new ways of communication, position technology in a way that we don't put it in the forefront and rather more keep it there where it should be and where it was meant to be, a vessel for us due to our limited sensorics. And it is really the time where we could even say we are able now to create a new business field for the sake of art and for us as artists and for the institutions. I mean, us as we are privileged a little bit because we all represent media arts, and media artists, they are always there, so to speak, where the cutting edge technologies would cause a huge challenge and big implications into our society. It is really a phenomenon and a privilege for us that we almost never look back. But again, the target must be, or our target is, that the entire society is our target group. That requires that that we have to kind of also change ourselves in what we think is relevant, and especially in this in the ways of how we are able to communicate the rather complex thing in a simplified way that is understandable for the individuals and the worlds they are representing. And this is the challenge. But the artists that we have, and with art, you can really kind of, I see that there is a big potential. Let's say it simply like that.
Could I maybe respond to I think what all of my colleagues here in the panel.
감사드립니다. 사실은 이 토론 주제는 뭐 지금 이 짧은 시간 안에 결론을 지을 수도 없고 더 많은 깊이 있는 토론이 향후에도 지속돼야 되겠지만, 제가 나름 지금 말씀하신 것들을 정리해 본다면 사실 그 기술의 활용이, 기술적 활용의 더 용이한, 기술을 더 잘 활용할 수 있는, 기술에 대한 접근성이 뛰어난, 예를 들자면 젊은 세대, 디지털 네이티브겠죠. 젊은 세대들이라든가 아니면 좀 더 여유가 많은 자본의 상위 계층들이 사실은 기존의 미술관의 메인 그 향유자로 많이 왔었던 것 같습니다. 제가 백남준 아트센터의 관장으로 있었는데요. 여기 오기 전까지는 백남준 아트센터만 하더라도 미디어 아트센터죠. 주로 젊은 관람객들이 굉장히 많이 왔습니다. 근데 향후에 우리가 이런 것을 좀 극복을 하고 모든 대중들한테 이것들 다양한 대중들을 저희가 흡수를 하려면 기술적 시스템, 다시 말하면 뭐 입력, 저장, 출력 이러한 다양한 기술적 창작, 매개 향후의 기술적 시스템을 보다 더 글로벌하게 공유제로서 우리가 그 부분에 있어서 접근성이 뛰어난 많은 대중들이 접근하기 쉬운 방법들을 개발을 하거나 연구를 해야 될 것 같습니다. 그래서 이런 의미에서 사실 저희 어저께 토론 시간에도 나왔던 질문 중에 하나인데요. 각각의 기관들이 디지털 아트 작업을 수집하고 또한 유통, 배포를 할 때, 다시 말하면 아까 말한 것처럼 입력하고 저장하고 출력을 할 때 각각 기관들이 다른 시스템을 활용을 하고 있기 때문에 그것이 네트워크화가 돼서 범용화, 전 지구인이 같이 활용할 수 있는 이런 것들이 지금까지는 잘 안 되어 왔습니다. 미디어 작업의 보존, 복원까지 포함해서요. 그래서 제가 궁금한 거는 제트카엠이 그런 연구를 많이 했던 걸로 알고 있고 저희 백남준 아트센터도 연구를 많이 했었는데 각각의 기관들이 어떤 디지털 아트 작업들을 보존하고 복원하고 심지어는 창작하고 유통하는 어떤 기술적 시스템을 어떤 방식을 좀 활용하고 있는지 예를 들자면 뭐 하드 드라이브를 사용하는지 아니면 뭐 메모리 칩을 활용을 하는지 MPEG-4, AVI 파일 포맷을 활용을 하는지 뭐 이것들이 다 저는 다르다고 생각을 하거든요. 그래서 그런 부분에 대해서 향후 저희 포럼이 미디어 작업, 특히 무빙 이미지 작업의 글로벌 스탠다드 테크니컬 시스템, 기술적 표준화 작업도 같이 논의를 해야 된다고 생각을 하는데요. 각각의 기관들의 정책, 어떤 콜렉션 정책을 포함해서 소장품 정책을 포함해서 그런 어떤 시스템과 정책에 관해서 좀 알고 싶습니다. 네. 어려운 질문인가요?
I can continue here. We have a big archive, but we don't have a collection. And you know, I mean, what we are collecting, so to speak, is the many fails of those trying to collect media arts. What you just said before is talking about hard disk. Yeah, it is on the one side. It's the paradigm that the hard disk itself, so to speak, is the place where you store the relevant data, and all from a specific point, the hard disk itself becomes an object to preserve. It is quite tricky in our world to talk about preservation and to talk about, especially when you want to connect the values of an art collection into, if you want to transform this into the media art world. I mean, still, this is the reason why the media artists themselves have to always seek for new business fields for their existences, because it's simply they simply don't have a foot, their toes, just a milli square meter or so, whatever, on the big art market. That is, on the other side, our institutional chance, because we do create a new dialogue due to the lack of market issues with these artists, and we further develop something into different fields, and where artists all of a sudden appear in different roles, which is, from my point of view, this dilemma is the chance for, I think, everybody here in this round in its institution, and we are pretty good in using and utilizing this in colorful ways.
네, 다른 발제자님들이 또 여기에 관해서 말씀해 주실 게 있을까요?
Yes, we deliberately do not collect. And I'll try to explain why, because it also relates to the previous topic, what Martin was referring to. It's almost a paradox when you talk about media art that we say, well, basically the technology is not the most important thing, because the first thing you see in a lot of works is the technology. If we would translate that to a very old technology, if you allow me to call it even a technology, we could debate. If you would put a child in a library without a librarian, without a teacher, without anything, and we leave the kid there for 18 years, and it's the total library with all the human knowledge, it would not be a very successful education in the end, because research shows that we are learning most by mimicking other people. So the knowledge transfer happens through an education with people. So that said, I think that the media art scene has traditionally always been a scene closer related to the properties of the performance art than it is to the contemporary art world, where you have an accumulation of capital that happens through collectors, galleries, etc. A media artist quite often travels with his or her work to present it in one of our festivals around the world that we see. The fact that this artist is traveling means also that it's an opportunity to create a community where a lot of these people know each other. So the knowledge transfer happens there as well. And I think that is a big advantage, what you see, where basically the work is less detached from the artist, as you can see in a contemporary art world. So that is one of the reasons why we think that the activation of communities in the practice is one of the driving forces in media art, instead of the accumulation of capital. You can also not collect a theater piece. You could maybe collect the play as in, you know, the written part, but the performance would be very hard to collect. So that is my take on that.
We also do not have collections, but we have this archive of media artworks since the 80s. It is an archive made of videos, made of objects, made of, how to say, posters, images. And we recently decided to digitalize this to offer to our audiences. But as we organized this exhibition called The Roof of the New, we also we mixed immateriality with materiality, so objects with videos and so on, because I think that in this passage people still need to have something of material to, and what we did also to involve our audience was to ask them to bring to us some pieces of the media artwork of the past. But I think that nowadays this will be linked more and more to the topic also in terms of a monetization of crypto arts. It is a word that we are exploring and that could complete this frame of the digital transformation and the materiality that we are seeing, and but we maybe are not still completely aware of.
Similar to my other speakers, IMPAKT also doesn't collect. For us, it's simply a matter of picking your battles. I mean, it's a very complex area, and it's not what IMPAKT is most interested in. And I would like to maybe use this to also maybe go back to the first part of the discussion, and that is this question of access, unequal access, that not all the people maybe have access to the technologies that we are developing. That is, of course, true, but I don't think it's the whole story. I think a lot of the technology that is easily accessible to people, social media, for instance, has a huge impact on our society. And I find it more interesting to develop that and to research that. And this is something that you can share with those people, because we all have our smartphones, we are all on social media, we all experience how this can influence the debates that we're in. So it's not a virtual reality work that influenced American politics. It's not a virtual reality work that made people storm the Capitol. It's how social media works, also in connection with classical media. So I think we can have this dialogue with a lot of people without the need for them to have high-speed internet. And for me, this is a more interesting area, or at least I would like to add that to this discussion. And I would like to maybe also go away from this problem that you just pointed out and finding technological solutions for that. Because it's not by giving all the peoples a virtual reality set that we can have this dialogue with them. We can have this dialogue without this. We can have this dialogue over the internet. Of course, people need to have access to the internet, and it's not just this technological aspect. It's also the fact that I'm sitting here in a quiet room, no one is disturbing me, I can have this dialogue, there's no children around me. So there is an economical factor to it, that you have to have a position. But I would like to avoid to reducing this to a technological problem, and also I would like to avoid to seeing the solution just in technological perspectives. It's a dialogue, it's people that need to talk, and it's also, and it's one of the projects that we're working now on, it's also that we need to convince politicians that they need to have more knowledge and more awareness about the effects that our contemporary technology, social media spaces and platforms, but also the economical situation that these are in, can have on our democracies and on our public debate. So that's my maybe reason for IMPAKT to not collect, but focus more on this dialogue.
Can I add something? Just quickly, talking about values and our archives. Sure, you cannot compare this with the treasure boxes others do have, full of paintings and sculptures. But what becomes extremely important, and that this is what I see with this flood of different angles that are currently developed in educating young media artists all over the world, technological coin, but also a cultural coin. It is that these people are coming with their with this energy of jumping into this adventure, jumping on that endeavor, and I think our archives values is all our archives value is that this quest of artists and technology is not a phenomenon of the 21st century, you know, and the references that that are all like shining out of our archives and not materialized archives. The names, the contexts, the persons and the situations time-wise, under which circumstances these artists develop their artists are so extremely relevant to understand the times we are currently in now for the entire people being interested into that. But it's also extremely relevant to show how our upcoming young generation of artists, let's say, or media artists, that there was something before, that there are references, that they don't have to invent the wheel for new in a capitalistic, chauvinistic way of doing, than rather more creating a dialogue to the things that happened before already. And that is what I see more and more, and this is how we offer our archive more and more to the universities than in a traditional way to somebody who is related to any kind of market.
네, 다양한 의견 너무 감사드립니다. 사실 디지털 시대가 지금 포스트 디지털 시대라고 하는데요. 디지털 시대가 상대적으로 과거와 비교했었을 때 지식과 정보 소유의 민주화를 도래하게 만든 건 맞다고 생각합니다. 그래서 사실은 저희 미술관은 콜렉션을 합니다. 그래서 약 160억 이상의 돈을 들여서 지금 작품들을, 현대미술 작업들을, 특히 미디어 아트 작업들, 백남준 선생님이라든가 백남준이라든가 히토시 타이어 이런 작업들을 소장을 하고 있는데요. 그럼에도 불구하고 저는 사실 이 동시대, 디지털 시대가 그러니까 콜렉션과 아카이브와 인포메이션의 경계를 없애고 있는 것 같습니다. 그 경계가 사라지고 있는 것 같습니다. 그래서 저희가 소장을 한다라는 것은, 작품을 소장을 한다라는 것은 전 권력이라고 생각합니다. 전문가 집단에 의한 권력. 이 작업은 우리가 사서 길이길이 보존을 하겠다라는 권력이라고 생각을 하는데요. 그 소장품을 사는 행위가 전문가 집단, 파워 엘리트 그룹의 어떠한 권력이었다면 이것이 아카이브화되고 인포메이션화되면서 모든 전 지구인이 같이 향유를 하면서 저는 이러한 권력들이 대중들한테 이양이 될 수 있다고 생각하는 사람입니다. 그래서 향후에 저희가 이런 논의는 깊이 있게 많은 미술인들과 모여서 우리가 어떻게 같이 서로의 아카이브를 공유를 하고 그 정보들을 전 지구인과 나눌 수 있을 것인가 라는, 그럼으로써 다양한 향유자들을 확장시킬 수 있을 것인가는 굉장히 중요한 화두인 것 같고요. 향후 저희가 지속적으로 고민하고 이야기해 볼 필요가 있을 것 같습니다. 네, 제가 이제 아마 통역 때문에 약간의 순차가 생기긴 하는데요. 사실 이미 저희가 이렇게 열띠게 얘기를 하다 보니까 토론 시간이 저희가 한 10분 정도 남았나요? 5분 정도 남았나요? 네. 또 이러한 의견에 대해서 또 답변을 하거나 또 말씀하시고 싶은 발제자님은 이야기를 해주셨으면 감사드리겠습니다. 네. 그러면 별다른 이야기가 없으면 제가 한 가지만, 제가 마지막으로 임팩트의 아르존
I could
딥네윈드.
respond to maybe something you said.
Okay.
Maybe Martin, I think, was also about to respond. I mean, I would simply be curious, since a lot of the new media works that I imagine that you have in your collection are very experiential, are immersive. You have to be in the physical space to experience it. How would you share that with this audience? How would you approach that in this democratic way that you just explained?
Martin, it's for question for Martin, right?
No, sorry, it's a question for you.
For me.
Yes.
굉장히 어려운 질문인데요. 아까 말씀드린 것처럼 어떤 기술의 그러니까 제가 사실은 비슷한 질문을 드리려고 했습니다. 이제 아르존 선생님한테 비슷한 질문을 하려고 했었는데, 사실 지금 온라인을 활용한 어떤 가상적 예술을 확장시키고 있는데, 저는 이제 궁금했던 점 중에 하나가 지금 오프라인과 온라인에 대한 간극, 온라인과 오프라인에 대한 보여지는 방식, 체험하는 방식, 뭐 그게 이머시브 시애터도 포함이 된 거죠. 그런 가상현실, AR, VR, MR, 뭐 메타버스까지 이러한 온라인과 오프라인의 현재 이 간극이, 이 차이가 저는 아직은 존재하고 있다고 믿는데 향후 미래에는 그러한 간극이 진짜로 없어질 수 있을 것인지, 이게 뭐 요즘에 뭐 메타버스라는 게 유행이기도 하지만 완벽하게 그 간극이 없어지면서 온라인에서 하는 체험과 오프라인에서 하는 체험, 온라인에서 하는 창작과 오프라인에서 하는 창작이 구분이 없어질 수 있는지, 지금 다양한 가상적 온라인 실험을 하고 계시니까 저는 거기에 대해서는 살짝 아직까지는 의문을 많이 가지고 있습니다. 그 간극이 과연 사라질까? 완벽하게. 그러면 예술이 어떻게 변화가 될까? 그런 거에 대해서는 저는 아직도 의문을 가지고 있는데요. 그 비슷한 맥락의 질문인 것 같습니다. 우리 아르존 선생님이 얘기하시는 것처럼 구글 글래스라는 개념이 나오거나 구글 글래스, 뉴럴링크, 컴퓨터와 나의 뇌를 링크를 시켜버렸을 경우 과연 우리의 예술은, 우리의 창작과 체험은 어떻게 변화할 수가 있을까? 그러면 완벽하게 온라인과 오프라인의 창작과 향유, 체험이 사라져 버릴까? 그런 거에 대한 의문은 저도 아직 가지고 있고요. 거기에 대해서는 약간 저는 부정적으로 생각하고 있는 부분이 아직은 있습니다. 올드가이라서.
If I may add here something just quickly, that is why I said our archives are so important for the references. If one would think that the idea of a metaverse is the revolutionary new of the 21st century, then I have to say, excuse me, no. Before I just quickly may say that all these tries belong to the biggest fails and misunderstandings where people's desires would end or would be targeted to. Is it really our target that we, as you said, that we want a gapless, so to speak, seamless mashup of the two different worlds? If we are still not clear, if we are still so far away to understand anyways what the digital as a world, as a habitat, as a public area is, I am sorry, I am skeptic, and I lean back when I listen to these metaverse stories. What the hell should we do there? What should we do there? I mean, we should better take care on the soil we are standing on, and we should make clear that the metaverse is not a place to piss off, than rather more just the next logical layer of an evolution of humankind. But still, you know, the machines are running this. They are cooled with drinking water, the water that we lack of. And if we think that we don't need the elementary things that makes a life to a life, food, drinks, life quality, if we think that we can generate a pendant, a doppelganger in the metaverse, I think, are totally wrong. It's much more that we should utilize this metaverse idea for a temporary station that we create for us humans, individuals, different cultures, to link us, so to speak, better, to use the digital as a tool for organizing, as managing, so to speak, the many possibilities that are currently popping up, but not as the core media. I don't wish myself and my entire crowd, myself, to end up in the metaverse, because what is it that ends there, you know? And also this myth of combining us with computers is for me the proof that we still don't get it right, what it's all about with technology. You know, it's a philosophical question still. We are talking from the intelligence of others, and we are totally not aware. of what our intelligence is. And my last quote is a little bit of a provocative answer to your question. My question is, I mean, what is our brain? The brain is divided into different elementaries, and for me the question starts to become interesting when we are talking about with what parts of the brain we connect, so to speak, technology. Is it the contemplative brain, our old brains, our reptile brain, our bias, so to speak, or is it the brain of subjectivity? Because currently we are linking it directly with the subjectivity brain, so to speak, and that misguides us and mislinks us, and that creates a big chaos, because the problems that we are trying to, that the projections of the projects we have in front of us are, and the answers we generate are not the elementary problems that are to solve. And if we don't getting that right, intelligent systems around us are really becoming a complex challenge for us as society. But if we get it right, and I'm totally full of hope, we can, so to speak, use even artificial intelligence, intelligent systems for coming over the limits of our thoughts, of our limited sensors. And that is my strong belief, and that is what I finally say here in this round. Excuse me for stressing the time.
네, 아닙니다. 감사드립니다. Thank you for your, opinion. 제가 참고로 말씀을 드리면, 이제 그 이머시브 아트가 지금은 그 장소성에 매여 있죠. 블랙큐브라는. 네, 향후 아마 미래에 가서 뉴럴 링크가 되거나 구글 글래스가 일반화가 되면 이머시브 아트도 굉장히 장소성을 벗어나서, 블랙큐브라는 장소성을 벗어나서 대중화가 더 확산이 될 거라고 생각을 하고요. 그러니까 앞서서 말씀드린 것처럼 메타버스나 이런 매트릭스의 세상이 도래하더라도 매트릭스 바깥의 세상에 대한 의미와 존재의 가치 또한 저는 상실되지 않을 거라고 믿는 사람 중에 하나입니다. 저희가 지금 너무 이제 토론 시간이 이미 이제 5분을 경과를 하고 1시간이 지났는데요. 오늘은 여기서 마치고요. I will organize second, Future Museum Forum in Ulsan, in offline, not online, for next year. Yeah, so please join to the next year Future Museum Forum in offline. I want to see and talk face to face.
Thanks a lot.
And we can discuss more deeply our topic, and also not only discussion, we're gonna, research, and we're gonna make some new tangible art project together. So that's my hope for our Museum Forum's vision. Thank you very much to all presenters, and it's very honor for me to conversation with you. See you soon and keep in touch. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good luck for your construction site.
Thank you for inviting
Thank you.
us. Thank you.